There's Dreadnok Ryan here. We're on the island of Misfit Toy Collector. We're going to talk all about those vehicles. Now, I have to admit that I've been one of those folks who poo-pooed some of the ideas for some of these vehicles, but I'm happy to say I think I'm wrong, and I'm okay with that. Because if we do get some of these crazy items that folks have been talking about, I think we just all win as G.I. Joe fans and collectors. I think the only thing that could possibly limit us is size and, of course, the dollar. I think if something just costs way too much, that fans will have to say no just because we can't afford it. But I want to talk about where we've been, where we're at today, and then maybe some items we possibly could see. I really would like to hear some of your thoughts. And then I'll also have another video down the road where we can talk about play sets, because I think that's another opportunity for the G.I. Joe classified line. The Joe community has come out and said we will buy this stuff, unlike some of the Star Wars stuff where it was the giant TIE fighter or the snow speeder. The Joe community has really stepped up and is putting their money where their mouth is. And we're spending some big dollars to get these items. So let's go ahead and get started. And I think two of the items that I think have helped Hasbro management really get behind, or let's say more so, open up the purse strings to allow some of these vehicles to get made, has been the success of the HasLab. Again, this is the Joe community coming out, spending the money. Of course, the Dragonfly was an amazing item. It has so many different accessories, a number of different loadouts, comes with Wild Bill. We unlocked all of the tiers, again, which just shows the success. And I can't wait to get this item to finally have my battle of my Hiss tank versus my Dragonfly. I will be like a kid in the candy store when I get these particular items. Wild Bill looks amazing, and of course all of the tiered figures that were part of this look amazing as well too. But let's talk Hiss tank, and this absolutely blew me away with how quickly it funded, and I think it also did that with Hasbro as well. I mean, we blew through funding very quickly. We blew through all the tiers. There was even talk about like, okay, we've unlocked everything. What else can you guys give us? Because we're just continuing to buy this. I mean, I've heard stories of people buying, 10 of these items just because it is a Hiss tank and it is a troop builder. I think the figures that we do get with the Hiss tank are amazing. And Hasbro has also brought out more figures that you can add to this for a play feature, so you do get the fire team. But I think this also goes back to your shelf. Having all of these particular figures in that same color scheme really makes it pop on the shelf. And for any figure for action figure photographers, I think it's just amazing seeing all the different items that will be included with the Hiss tank, and then the stuff that you'll be able to add on later. Of course, we do know the fire team is just repaints of Cobra troopers we already had, but they're in those grays, those blacks, and the red that all match up to the Hiss tank, which really just makes it pop. Hiss is supposed to be hopefully shipping before the end of the year. I know I can't wait to get mine in hand. I've already got a shelf set up to get that Cobra fire team as well too. And then of course we did see the SMS as a render, so we know that this will fit with the Hiss as well too. We will talk about that here in a little bit. But let's look at some of the items or where we started. So the first particular items that we did see was, of course, for the Baroness with the Cobra Island exclusive through Target. It was that futuristic red and black motorcycle. I mean, it was cool for what it was. I really hope we don't see that item again in the line. Of course, we then did get Breaker and the Ram, an iconic little vehicle that came out for G.I. Joe in the early years in 1982. And what was nice about this particular item is it also had the minigun, which was used for roadblocks. So again, reusing molds will be a big part of what the G.I. Joe team does. It's what Hasbro has done, and pretty much any other action figure manufacturer. Tooling is expensive and you need to reuse it. So we did also just see the Tiger Force Ram with Duke. Great little repaint. One item I wasn't really excited about, but I have to admit, once I got it in hand, I really like it. And thanks to Mark II Design with his sidecar, it kind of gives it the Mirage feel. So let's go on to the, again, Serpentor. This was a Pulse, I'm sorry, yeah, it was a PulseCon exclusive. funded or sold out very quickly. They did a reorder that sold out very quickly, and then they've had it pop back up a number of different times, and every time it just sells out very fast. The Joe team did a great job with the Air Chariot. It was a nice homage to the original while still updating it and adding some really cool features to it. Of course, the Serpentor figure just knocked it out of the park. This was a home run. Packaging was amazing for it as well, too. And then the newest items that we've seen, the Trouble Bubble. This is an absolutely amazing little vehicle. I play with this thing every single day. I pick it up. I still crack up that it has seatbelts into it. We are talking about Cobra. They are not OSHA compliant. I think the Televiper looks absolutely amazing. I love the fact that we have swappable heads. So if you are a troop builder, it just gives you a little bit more flavor in your displays so that you can have, you know, a number of different looking troopers, whether it's with the face mask on, or if you have, you know, the African-American head or the Caucasian head. It just gives you different looks to make yourself stand out even more. In the Python Patrol, I have to admit, I'm not, I was never a fan of Python Patrol or Tiger Force when I was younger. I was OG G.I. Joe. Give me the OD greens. That's what I liked. But seeing just the amazing paintwork that you get with some of the Python Patrol and Tiger Force figures, and again, and just how the colors pop, I do have to admit I did pick up a Python Patrol Trouble Bubble. Let's talk VAMP now. This was one of the digital renders that we saw for Comic-Con. John talked about how Lenny had future-proofed this item, which basically means they can reuse this mold multiple times for multiple different vehicles. And of course, if you know the VAMP, we know that we've seen it a number of different times in the G.I. Joe line. Again, clutch looks amazing. I do dig all the accessories that the VAMP will come with, whether from the fire extinguisher and the axe to the wrench, the jerry cans. This just looks great. I love the detail on the machine gun itself. And that leads me into the next versions of this particular item. Since we have it in the OD Green Joe, we have to see it in the Stinger Black. We have to have the Cobra version of this VAMP Jeep. Again, the big difference is just swapping out that machine gun with the missile launcher, and then again adding the doors and roof rack. The Cobra officer we've already seen, so that's just an easy repaint. But definitely need to get this particular item. I think it will look fabulous with your his take on your shelf, setting up some amazing looking dios. Just easy repaint for the Joe team. And then the VAMP Mark II in the brown version. We've known that we've seen Dusty. We know that we've seen Mocha Choca, Snake Eyes, Desert Snake Eyes. So why not have Clutch in the desert version for this particular item? Again, swapping out the machine gun for some sort of missile pod. But again, this will allow the Joe team to reuse that mold and get 3 different versions of an item from one mold. Now, with all of that said, I would not be Dreadnok Ryan unless I talked about Dreadnoks. And I will warn you that there will be a number of times that I bring up the greatest Joe sub team ever, the Dreadnoks. Please, oh please, can we get the Dreadnought Ground Assault? Make it a PulseCon exclusive. Make it a Comic-Con exclusive if you don't want to. But please, let us have the opportunity to get a Ram colored in Dreadnought colors and get the VAMP, or I should say more so the Cobra Stinger, in Dreadnought colors. The G.I. Joe Collector Club did one of their final vehicles, which was the Dreadnought version of the Stinger, which came with Heart Wrencher. Amazing looking figure, an amazing looking item. We've got to get this in the Dreadnought colors, especially if we get the Stinger, we get the VAMP Mark II. This would just be a great, maybe change it from Yo Joe June to Dreadnought June, and it just be all Dreadnought stuff. Just saying. I did talk about the SMS, and again, this was a Sears exclusive where it came with the Hiss. It was in that red or crimson color, of course, initially, but with the HasLab Hiss, I think this SMS just, again, fits right into that whole, I don't want to say like a play. It just fits into that whole world for the hiss. The grays, the blacks, and the reds just all mixed together. It makes it looks like just they were all perfectly aligned. It makes it look like it is a unit. I think it's going to look amazing on the shelves. Again, the Techno Viper, we did know that we're going to get this in the original purple, but again, it's just a nice, easy repaint. Now, if we're getting the SMS and we're getting a VAMP, we have to get the MMS and get a vintage Colonel Hawk figure to go along with it. Put this behind the VAMP, add Hawk with Clutch. It's just an easy win, and it gets us the Hawk figure from the 82 release in the the OG 13. I just think it's an easy win, and I do see the Joe team doing this just because you don't tool it up for the SMS and not have the MMS. Of course, we did get the name only reveal for the Cobra Ferret. This is an amazing item as well, too. This was great. It was priced affordably back in the 80s. And whether you watch the Dreadnoks ride it in the Temple of Darkness or the Crimson Twins, or even going back to the original box art with Storm Shadow and Firefly, this is a great item. From the rubber tires, the working steering column, the cannons, the laser rifles, and the missiles. This is just a home run item. I can't wait to see what the Joe team does with this, just to upgrade it a little bit more and to make it, classified style, if you will. With this, then, if we get the Cobra Ferret in original blue, that means we have to see it with the Tiger Paw. Just an easy repaint. This will be great for a Target exclusive. I'm hoping that we see that this will give us the Tiger Force Lifeline. Could be included with this particular item. That way it will give the figure and vehicle for Target. And then, of course, we'll see Lifeline hopefully in the main line as well, too. Now, there have been so many versions of the Awe Striker. So many versions. Whether you want to talk about the Eco-Force, you want to talk about into the modern version where we've seen the Ninja Cruiser. There was the version that came with Shockwave and then Chuckles. There's just been a number of different versions of this particular vehicle, and I think we have to see it and classify it at some point as well, too. You can do a number of different repaints for this, from greens to blacks to whatever, but I think at some point we will see the Awe Striker join the G.I. Joe classified line. This is one of my bigger wish items. I know that we've already received or have bought, or Slaughter's been added to the line. I shouldn't say we received it, but Sergeant Slaughter has already been added to the line. And again, it's missing something, and I really think it's a triple T. This could be, again, another con exclusive type item, or we get an updated Sergeant Slaughter with more hands, salute hands maybe. Just some more items that could be included, but I do think I would love to see a triple T tank. I know that for a lot of Joe fans, you're like, that's a tank with an open cockpit that you can get shot, but it's Sergeant Slaughter and it's a toy. So for smaller items, I think we could see a Cobra Claw, and I pray that we get battle armor. As far as the Cobra Claw, I think they can make it again into a glider, or a powered glider, I should say, or even a drone. I think it would be great if we could get this item, get the retro style Scarlet. Of course, we already have the retro style Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, and then just kind of replay the silent issue from the G.I. Joe comic, as Scarlet and Snake Eyes are making their escape from the Silent Castle. And then again, for the battle armor, I've seen so many amazing 3D printers create just amazing snake armor with articulation, with lights, different things like that. So I would love to see what the Joe team could possibly do with this particular item. Again, you can do a Crimson version. You could do, some sort of Night Force version. It's just a number of different opportunities for both of these items that I think could help add more story opportunities to the G.I. Joe classified line. Oh, how did this get in there? Oh, wait, I know. Because I put it in there. Yes, I want a Zartan with the Swamp Skier. And yes, I have the non-Nef swamp skier already. That is a great little item. They've come out with it in a Storm Shadow white version. If you are interested, go check out Non-Nef Productions website. This is an injected molded item, but it's more like a model kit, so you do have to put it together. But I would really love to see the homage of Zartan with his original swamp skier with the changeable features, whether it's cold. I'm fine with that again. But just something to bring back the king of the Dreadnoks. And speaking of Dreadnoks, a Thunder Machine. I know there's been a lot of debate if this would be a HasLab item or a mainline type item. I believe if the VAMP is successful, that we will see this as a mainline item. I don't think it is HasLab. I don't want to say quality, but it's not that top tier item that you could add a number of different features to justify a big price tag. And then also you come with Thrasher. What other figures could you really include with this particular item for Dreadnoks? You don't want to pass up that opportunity to sell more figures by hiding them behind a paywall when you can include them in just mainline releases. So I think this could be a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. Again, a fan channel exclusive. Just do some nice, cool updates to it. But again, I think this is an item for us Dreadnok fans that we will just, buy and buy and buy. A smaller Joe item that I think would go great with the motor pool would be an armadillo. I don't even know if you'd need to put a figure with this particular item. I think it would just be a nice little inclusion for the tank side of the Joe motor pool. Again, it would just fit one figure. You could put a figure on the back. But I think you could do this cheap enough that it just gives an opportunity to add this to the Joe line. It was a great little cheap item back in the day. It was fun to play with. It makes no sense at all, but this is toys we're talking about. It's G.I. Joe. It doesn't have to make sense for it to be cool. And the Battle Bear. I know that we've already had Snow Job released, and then the modern line. I know they did a modern version of the Battle Bear and then the vintage version of the Battle Bear 2-pack with Snow Job, where you got the vintage O-ring Snow Job with a modern version of it. I hope we do get to see something like this for Classified. I know that we've seen an expansion into, if you want to call it the different seasons or the different areas of operation. So if we are going to see like the Snow Joes and Snow Cobras join, we definitely need a Battle Bear. Now, here's some of my wish list items, because I don't know if there's enough of us that would buy these particular items or if there's even enough space for them. Because I think with the Devilfish, seeing some of the 3D printed items that I have, it's a bigger item. So like, almost 12 inches long. I don't know how many folks have that shelf space for that, but I think it is a great little troop builder for the Joes. And then also the Shark Mark II Design did an amazing 1/12 scale version of this. He printed off. It was absolutely huge and beautiful. But it would also help for us to get Deep Six included with updates to his articulation and, of course, classified version of him. But I would love to see a Shark and the Devilfish. For the Cobra side of it, if we're talking water, I want the Cobra Night Landing. This was such a fun toy to have back in the day. I had my eels and have Firefly sneaking into any of the Joe bases, doing what they needed to do, and then sneaking away in the dead of the night. The Cobra Hydro Sled, very underrated toy from back in the day. It's great to have now since we have Cobra Eels, and they've announced that they're going to have retro carded Cobra Eels. The one item I don't think we will see, though, I wish we would be the Cobra Water Moccasin. We already have Copperhead in the mainline release as well as Python Patrol, but damn, wouldn't it be nice to get a Cobra Water Moccasin too? Cobra Fang has to be something that is on the radar for the Joe team. Again, we have the Dragonfly, but this is a great little item to have to fight it. We did see this updated with the last modern run, which was through Walmart. They did include a new pilot to go with this item as well. I don't know if you'd have to go that far or just reuse a Cobra Trooper, but I think we definitely need a Fang in that 1/12 scale. I've seen a number of great 3D prints of this particular item, but this being mass produced, being a troop builder item, I think Hasbro could sell a number of these. And then that leads us to the Skyhawk, the Joe version of a troop builder. This is something that we need to have if you have a Cobra Fang. We need a Skyhawk. This was a very big part of the G.I. Joe cartoon. I think every major G.I. Joe character had some sort of scene in a Skyhawk. And more importantly, these two items together with the Cobra Fang and the Skyhawk lead me into my last Dreadnok themed 2-pack, which is the Dreadnok Air Assault. So you get the Skyhawk version in Dreadnok colors and then the Cobra Fang in Dreadnok colors as well. And this, of course, was a Sears exclusive back in the day. And if you guys haven't figured it out, I'm really just asking for all Dreadnok stuff. Because I am Dreadnok Ryan. But I think with just all these repaints and with some of these items like these Sears exclusive from back in the day, not a lot of us could get the opportunity to pick these items up because we just didn't know they were there, or we didn't have the internet to tell us, Pop Finder to go where to find these. But I think it's just a great opportunity to reuse molds if they are going to create a Skyhawk or a Fang, to give us the Dreadnok versions of them as well too. I want to give a big shout out to everybody who's been a supporter of the Island of Misfit Toy Collectors. I could not do this without you guys. You are all absolutely amazing. I hope you guys are having a great day, night, morning, wherever you're at on the island. And more importantly, Dreadnoks rule forever. Hey, let me know in the comments what vehicles you would like to see. And again, I will be doing a video on play sets because I think that is another opportunity for the G.I. Joe team to create some amazing shelf items to really build out your G.I. Joe or your Cobra worlds. And again, I hope you guys are all having a great day, and we'll talk to y'all soon.